My name's Katana Nancy and I'm a proud Palawa woman. My cultural connection to country really started here at Pirikitna, Risdon Cove. Really connects me to my old people again.
Katana is passionate about bush food. She has established an Indigenous catering company and she loves experimenting with ingredients.
The wattle seed really brings that kind of nutty flavour.
She feels one of the big issues facing young First Nations people is maintaining their culture.
Making sure that they're not being assimilated in this colonised world and really connecting them back to their roots.
She doesn't want a voice to Parliament as part of her future.
The only outcome that we should be striving for is to have seats in Parliament, not advisors out of Parliament.
Young people make up more than half of Australia's First Nations population. The referendum will impact more heavily on that younger generation who will naturally have to live with the results for longer.
My name is Arya Ritz and I am a Palawa woman from the north of Tasmania. My mum was adopted, so I grew up in a very, very loving but very white family, and only just sort of connected with community in the last 5 years when my mum found her biological dad.
Arya gives talks about her experiences growing up.
My early education and how I didn't sort of have a culturally safe environment, and how, look, I was taught that Truganini was the last Aboriginal person and I'm only 18.
She's been accepted to study law at university next year, but she's concerned other First Nations people are missing out on higher education.
I think that that's quite hard to access, especially in the sort of more disadvantaged areas.
While she feels the voice to Parliament has flaws, she'll be voting yes.
I would prefer treaty than voice. It's a good stepping stone in closing the gap.
Erin Deverell is a Tasmanian Aboriginal woman and has been campaigning for the Yes campaign. She was one of the few young people in the audience at a recent Voice event in Hobart.
Vote yes.
There's a lot of pushback from people in the community saying that this isn't going to go far enough, but I think getting that federal framework, getting that policy and legislation in there is a really important part of the puzzle in changing things.
My name is Tianji Brown and I'm a Tasmanian Aboriginal man, but I'm also a Queensland Aboriginal man. My personal understanding is being out on country and talking to the trees and talking to the country itself. And it's something that is deeply embedded into Aboriginal culture, is that we are one with all things around us.
And Tianji Brown likes to share that culture with others.
Just sitting underneath the octopus tree, I just want to tell people about this because to me it's a very important tree up here. It's one of the elder trees that kind of sit here in the forest and inform the others how they're meant to live in balance.
But the 29-year-old is worried young First Nations people are finding it harder to practice their culture.
So we don't want to lose the information from the elders because they're getting on.
And rather than a voice to Parliament, Tianji would like to see a more radical change to Australia's political system.
A republic. A republic where we can have a clean slate, and it's like we don't need to have associations to the horribly racist 1901 white Australia policies.
Young First Nations people sharing their hopes for the future.